March 16, 1926. The neighbors of Robert Goddard's Aunt Effie had their rural peace and quiet shattered when Goddard ignited the first liquid fuel rocket. The roar of the liftoff occurred on her farm in Massachusetts amidst a cabbage patch. Testing such as this preceded the first launch. No film of that momentous historical moment exists, though. To build up thrust, the rocket had more fuel than needed, which made the rocket too heavy to lift off. By the time thrust was built up and the excess fuel burned, the film had run out. Goddard, who would earn the title the father of liquid fuel rocketry, summed up the event in his diary. The rocket did not rise at first, but the flame came out and there was a steady roar. After a number of seconds, it rose, slowly, until it cleared the frame, and then at express train speed, curving over to the left and striking the ice and snow, still going at a rapid rate. It looked almost magical as it rose, without any appreciably greater noise or flame, as if it said, "I've been here long enough. I think I'll be going somewhere else if you don't mind." 3 years later, a newspaper described Goddard's July 17, 1929 launch of an 11-foot rocket. The headline declared, "Moon rocket misses target by 238,799.5 miles." While that vehicle carried a parachute, a camera, thermometer, and meteorological instruments, the first to do so, neighbors heard the roar 2 miles away, thought one of those newfangled airplanes had crashed, and telephoned authorities. Police quickly deduced Goddard was the culprit, and officials forbade further experimentation. Goddard's interest in space began when he read War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. A sickly child, he spent a lot of time in bed devouring books on science. He was teaching physics at Clark University in Massachusetts when he published A Method of Reaching Extreme Altitudes. He wanted to send a rocket to the moon, but first he had to invent the technology. His major benefactor was the Smithsonian, with partial underwriting from the Carnegie Institute and Clark University. Early in November of 1918, during World War I, Goddard was demonstrating his fledgling technology at Aberdeen Proving Ground, Maryland, for a military that wanted new weapons of war. Goddard had developed a solid propellant device, which ultimately became the bazooka. Shortly afterward, Germany surrendered and the military had no need for additional weaponry. Though Goddard might have been frustrated, he was undeterred. Well into the 1920s, aviator Charles Lindbergh paid him a visit to learn whether rockets could assist in airplanes taking off. Lindbergh would take Goddard up for his first flight, which Goddard wrote proved a good test of my nerve, as the aviator ascended to 8,000 feet and down to within 50 feet of the tops of the pine trees. Lindbergh suggested the Goddards move to New Mexico and then helped Goddard secure a $100,000 Guggenheim Foundation grant. Lindbergh was familiar with New Mexico because the United States Army had contracted with him to identify locales nationwide to build air bases. New Mexico was sparsely populated, the land was wide open, and the weather was good. In 1930, with some of the funds from Guggenheim, Goddard and his team set up shop at the newly purchased Mescalero Ranch outside of Roswell. His wife, Esther, was the team's photographer, cinematographer, and note-keeper.
There is only one person alive today who knows the untold story of Robert Goddard. Listen as his wife, Mrs. Esther Goddard, takes you back to 1925.
I can still remember my husband Bob coming home to this house from Clark University one afternoon in December of 1925 with his dark eyes shining. He told me with great excitement that afternoon at his laboratory, his little liquid propellant rocket motor had lifted its own weight and even a little more. Now it is ready to take out into the open, he said.
The work continued for 15 years until Goddard's death at age 63 from throat cancer on August 10, 1945. In his lifetime, Goddard filed 214 patents. An additional 131 were filed posthumously. After moving to Roswell, Goddard joined the Rotary Club there. If you're ever in the area, visit the Roswell Museum and Art Center. Rotarians, following Goddard's passing, took the tools from his ranch and placed them into a recreation of Goddard's lab. In many ways, you're looking at 19th century technology used to build 20th century rocket technology that now, in the 21st century, is commonplace. History has not forgotten his contributions. NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center is named in his honor. Early in Goddard's career, the New York Times was perhaps his biggest critic. As Goddard began developing rocketry, the paper said he lacked, quote, the knowledge ladled out daily in high schools, end quote. In the vacuum of space, the Times said, the rocket had nothing to push against to achieve flight. Nearly a quarter century after his death, the Times finally admitted their error in having criticized Goddard's experimentation. The Apollo 11 mission to land on the moon had proved him correct and the Times wrong.